All right, let's get the other headlines of today going on in the big, bad financial scandal marketplace. Stacey Herbert.
Max, it's good to be here. You brought up Goldman Sachs in your opening monologue there. Well, they're in the headlines, too, because, you know, this giant Greek crisis with the Greek debt and all the Europeans and everybody having to bail out the country. Well, Goldman caught using European loophole to help massively understate Greek deficit, and how Goldman Sachs helped Greece to mask its true debt. Now, this is a bit complicated, so I'm going to start here.
Ponzi schemes usually are. Please continue.
Well, yes, exactly. The deal involved so-called cross-currency swaps, in which government debt issued in dollars and yen was swapped for euro debt for a certain period to be exchanged back into the original currencies at a later date. Now, this was a deal struck between the Greek government and Goldman Sachs in 2002, and it helped the Greek government to mask the true extent of its deficit in order to help it avoid, helped it circumvent the EU Maastricht deficit rules. Now, apparently, in the Greek case, the U.S. bankers, Goldman Sachs, devised a special kind of swap, according to Der Spiegel, with fictional exchange rates, so that this enabled the Greek government to receive a far higher sum than the actual euro market value of the $10 billion or yen. In that way, Goldman Sachs secretly arranged additional credit of up to $1 billion for the Greeks.
Fictional exchange rate is the same as arbitrary exchange rate. Here's what I have to say about Goldman Sachs. They're obviously a bunch of witches and warlocks down there at 85 Broad Street. If you're looking for a place to get interested, by the way, y'all looking for possible, activist campaigns. 85 Broad Street, Goldman Sachs. And they're obviously a bunch of witches and warlocks. And what I think they should do is they should actually give Lloyd Blankfein some toilet paper. And if you can't actually turn it into $1 billion on the spot, they should tie his ankles with that big brass bull there in the middle of Wall Street and throw him into the East River. If he floats, then he's obviously a witch and he should be executed. If he sinks, then who cares?
But the thing I want to point out is that for the last few weeks, Europe has just been torn apart. The euro has been so volatile. All the credit markets have been so volatile around this constantly emerging hidden debt. You see so many headlines about Greece didn't know that they had so many debts. There's 40 billion surprised hidden debt found. They revised up their budget deficit for 2009 from 12.2% to 16% overnight. So was Goldman Sachs uniquely positioned as the creator of these fictional exchange rate swaps to have positioned themselves? And was this a situation that will emerge in a few years' time, that very much like the subprime market? Goldman Sachs helped create many of the collateralized debt obligations on subprime mortgages in America, and uniquely profited from it.
Yeah, they committed fraud. It's like baseball players taking steroids.
Well, this is, their involvement in this situation in Greece suggests that they could have another bumper profit year in 2010.
Oh, they'll get huge Christmas bonuses again this year for their fraud, because a moral hazard in America, and Obama's America, means more Christmas bonus.
So I sent out a message to the viewers of this show, and I asked them what they thought of bailing out Greece. Should Greece be bailed out? And here's what we got back from German viewers. We got a comment from Stanley in Germany. He says, "I am not going to bail out Greece with my tax money. Maybe Greek government can make public offers for data CDs for rich Greeks hiding their wealth overseas. That would do the job." Now, this was an issue that was also brought up by Greek union workers on strike in Athens, who said, that they're being penalized by the austerity measures, but also by the increases in taxes, whereas normal people have to pay taxes. The rich don't have to, because they just hide it in Switzerland or Liechtenstein.
Yeah, well, it's savers versus speculators. So if you're not a speculator like Goldman, you get penalized because you're trying to save and work.
We got another response from Phil from Germany, responded by sending a headline which reads, "German company will make biggest gold coin ever, weighing 3,333 ounces. This is called the Global Liberty, and it has a fineness of 99.99%, weighs 103.6 kilos and cost 2.29 million euros.
Soon to be costing 5 to 8 million euros.
Well, exactly, but also with the emerging sovereign debt crises, where did governments have to turn to pay off the debts that they've incurred to bail out the bankers, the speculator class? They turn to the citizens who are stuck in the countries and aren't allowed to move across borders freely.
No.
So it's a good way to, if you have 2.29 million euros and you don't want it taken by your government to bail out bankers, it's a good way to, it's a big coin, perhaps, but...
Yeah, I mean, if you can't afford the big one there, get the small ones. I mean, if you want to save yourself from extinction, financial extinction from the Goldman banksters, you need to buy gold bullion.